All right. Can you hear me now? Oh, yes, you can hear me now. That's so much better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I couldn't be heard. So that's important for us to know that we're being heard because me sitting here for half an hour and not saying anything to anybody, but really thinking that I'm doing a great job would be a disservice to you. And I don't want to waste your time. So thank you so much for that. Tell me more. Actually, I know there's people online, so tell me more of what's going on with you and how I can best serve you. Because I want to make sure that these video calls are delivering great value to you and everything that you do, and why that's important is because you want to have something you're gaining from this. You want to have the idea that you are getting value from the time you spend with me. So I really want to make sure that I'm delivering value on that. So in terms of that, I was thinking about this today, and I had breakfast this morning with an old friend of mine, and we met at he picked me up because pretty much everybody picks me up if they want to have breakfast with me or a meal or a meeting. So anyway, we had this restaurant we went to, which is the place we go to frequently for breakfast, or at least I do. And as we're sitting there, he asked a question. He asked because I told him, how nice this place was, but how comfortable this place was to come and have meetings. And he said, "Do they have calamari?" And I looked around, and I didn't know, but I wasn't quite sure that this kind of place that we're in had calamari. So it just sounded a little bit off to me, but I didn't say anything at the time. So this is my old buddy Jeff. So Jeff, if you're listening, this is you. But I didn't say anything. So the lady came over, the waitress, and Jeff asked the question. So, do you have calamari? And she said no. And I thought about that, and it should have been, maybe it should have been. It could have been really apparent, but there's still places that have calamari. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think that nicer places would have better calamari. So, anyway, so it got me to thinking. What do you say when you come to a meeting, or what do you say when you come to an occasion where you're maybe presenting, or you may be speaking? What aura do you create? Do people know what they're going to get when you stand up in front of them and you have a conversation? So for me, I think that that it's important for us all to know our core values, but also our vision and what that vision is, and it's aligned. But what else do we say when we stand in front of people? So if I were to stand in front of you and I were to talk about something totally off the wall, with maybe it's sports, and I don't draw any analogies to vision and purpose, but I just talk about sports. Well, that's really kind of off brand for me. Not that I don't value sports and I don't know anything about sports. I certainly do. But that's not what you're here to talk about. You're here to listen, talk, and listen about how your vision is aligned with your core beliefs and your core values. So that's why we have this conversation today in that regard. But if you were to go to a restaurant and you went to a restaurant that, let's say you went to a vegetarian restaurant and you expected to have a steak, you're probably not going to get that, because when you go to that vegetarian restaurant that they're only going to have vegetarian meals or vegetarian steaks. They're not focused on good steaks. Anyway, so that's important for us all to understand how when we come up with our message. So if we're a speaker like I am, what is my message that I'm delivering to other people? if you can understand that message, if you can understand what's coming from me, and I start talking about something else, it's not going to make any sense. So, we want to go. Yes, I do want to go to a place where everybody knows my name. Thank you, Wes. Whoa, much better. Yeah. So right. Anyway, that's a good question. Why would you want calamari for breakfast? He wasn't asking about calamari for breakfast. He was asking about calamari in general, and how because he was going to potentially come there for a meeting with his friends in the evening. And the breakfast place is also open during the evening, so they have a fully stocked bar. That's why he was thinking about having calamari. Yes, I don't know why he thought about it for breakfast, but he was actually thinking about having it for an appetizer for his other meeting. Anyway, but a good question. Thanks. Thank you, Wes. So back to what we were talking about. You want to go where really everybody knows your name, but they know when you come in the door, you know what they're going to get. Yeah, they know what you're going to. Sorry, I'm hung up on my pronouns. My pronouns aren't coming out right, but they know what they're going to get when you walk in the door. So I think of the old TV show Cheers. You know, when Norm came in the door, you knew what you were going to get. Now, it wasn't always what you wanted, but you knew who Norm was, and he never went off of character. He always was in character. So that, I think that's important for us all to know. If we're in business for ourselves, or if we're a speaker, or if we're creating videos, whatever that is, just to understand how important it is to stay on target with that. So, what else? Know who you are. Know what you deliver to your audience, and know how important it is to stay on target with that delivery. So sometimes we consider going to a new restaurant, but if we went to that different restaurant, would we get what we wanted? Would we be able to have the same experience that we have at that restaurant versus the other one? Probably not. But if we're on target, if we're on track with that restaurant, if we know what that restaurant delivers. So, for example, if we went to Bob Evans, if we went to Bob Evans, we would know. And I see other people are commenting here. So, if we went to Bob Evans, we would know that we're getting a different meal from them, or a different kind of flavor. Good morning, Randall. It's good to see you. And Wes, he hasn't eaten calamari for breakfast. It was lunch, but it was breakfast time somewhere. Yes, you're right, Randall. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not Randall. That's Robert. My eyes deceive me. It's good seeing you, Robert, this morning. It's always good to see you. So, yeah, that is why we want to go to a place not only where we know what we're going to get, but if we're that place, we know what we deliver. We know what our core competencies are and how important it is to deliver that. Because we don't want to have guests that come to us and they're looking for calamari and we give them a steak. We want to make sure that we're on target with that. Or a hamburger might be a better example, or breakfast. So think about how important that is, but to continue to be consistent with that. So in everything you do, no matter what, and for example, me doing these videos, I have to be consistent with these videos. You don't want to hear me, talk about something random like sports or whatever. It's more important for us all to stay on target, stay on task with what it is that we're talking about. So that's why we do what we do. And yes, and there's Robert again. Robert. Yes, you threw me off with the hair. Sorry about that. That is why I had the curveball. So thank you for recognizing that, Robert. Anyway, so understand how important it is to be consistent with your message, and to be not only consistent with the message, but also consistent with the delivery. So, these videos that I have, I've been doing these for almost a year now, and they've been pretty consistent. We've been able to have a lot of success, a lot of listeners that come on and comment and have an interesting time. At least they're learning from me, from what I've done and how I've been able to live my life. So I think that's important for us all to understand that that being consistent with the message, being consistent with the delivery method is one thing, but also being consistent with the message that's out there, that's a whole other thing. So I would encourage you all to do that every day, to be not only be consistent with the message, but also with the delivery and how often, how frequent you have. So not only is there the message that's being delivered, but there's also the consistency. And when I can say consistency, I'm talking about the actual timeliness of it. So that is why I think we all need to continue to work on that and just do this every day. So I can't tell you how thankful I am for you all to be here. It's been phenomenal. There's a lot of growth that's happened in all of us over the last year. Hopefully we continue to grow together. There are good things that are going to continue to happen. So if there's something that you're working on or some idea that you have of what you can do to do something different in your life, in order to live a different life, maybe to do something with the gifts that you've been given. Think about doing that, but then more than anything, get started. Get started with something, because nothing's ever going to happen if you never move. That's probably the most important message that I have for you today. Think about that and how important it is and this all goes back to the WINK acronym. When we wink, we have that W. The W stands for why is it important to know my purpose? Why is it important to know what I'm doing? And the I is for being intentional with that. So understanding how you need to clear other stuff out of the way and focus on that one thing. And the N is for a new way of looking at life, a new way of looking at how you do your business, how do your life. But then the K is where it all comes into play. And the K is for kinesthetic. And when I think of kinesthetic, I think of taking action. And that is the most important thing, because you can't have the win, the WIN, and wink without the K. So thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your time. And as always, if there's ever anything that I can do for you, please let me know. And as always, keep one eye on the road.